Well, we are learning more about the record-breaking settlement involving more than 6,800 child sexual abuse claims dating back to the 1950s. The County of Los Angeles will pay out $4 billion to the claimants. And Rudabeh, you spoke to one of those victims.
Yes, one of thousands of survivors living with the scars of abuse by the people who were supposed to make them better at facilities funded by taxpayers. And tonight, one man is sharing his story with us. And we do want to warn you, his description of the abuse is graphic. Behind these walls, shameful secrets that continue to imprison generations decades after they're released.
That was a system that was seriously designed for young men and women to fail, for teenagers to fail.
Jimmy Vigil, now in his 40s, still has nightmares, reliving the horror inflicted on him as a teenager at the hands of his jailers. Physical, emotional, and sexual abuse that had been happening at LA County juvenile detention facilities and foster homes since before he was born. The first time, he says, when he was 14 and forced into a physician's office at Los Padrinos Juvenile Hall in Downey.
He touched my genital area and I started yelling and cussing at him. He called in a probationary staff member. I was handcuffed. I was placed inside of a room like a holding cell for between, I'd say, 3 to 4 hours in handcuffs.
Vigil says he was abused by that same doctor multiple times.
He was extremely rough with me when he touched me, and he forced a prostate exam on a 14-year-old boy.
Vigil was then transferred to the now shuttered Challenger camp in Lancaster, where he says staff members instigated fights between boys, then restrained and sexually assaulted them.
I remember my body being lifted up in the air, slammed on the floor on my stomach, and the man's weight was on top of me, and I could feel his hands all over me.
Sexually again?
Yeah. I complained about it to a staff member. I told another staff member that he had touched my private area while he was sitting on top of me. And I ended up in solitary confinement.
At a third facility, he says a staff member forced boys into a room and made them masturbate. Do you ever think about what you would say to him if you could face him?
I would probably break down in tears.
Vigil is one of nearly 7,000 people to come forward and sue Los Angeles County for a record $4 billion for abuse endured at juvenile facilities and foster care homes stretching back to 1959. Did you know that other kids were experiencing the same
Absolutely.
thing? And did you know that it was wrong?
No. Wrong, no. I was one that would poke the bear, for lack of a better phrase.
So you felt like you deserved it?
I did. That's what I had to convince myself, that everything that I was enduring, it was my fault. That if I behaved myself and I complied, that I wouldn't go through that.
Pleas for help within the system ignored, and calls to the outside for help didn't go through.
I remember being on the phone trying to tell my mom, and the phone went dead. And my case manager had disconnected the call.
As a boy, he says no one listened. But as a man, Vigil is now sharing his story, potentially redirecting the fate of countless others. Patrick McNicholas is his attorney.
Vulnerability is always a part of it. But in this case, it's really extreme because they are exercising the police authority over these people in a prison-like setting. And the other insidious part of it, they can subject them to their will inside these institutions and subject them to their will outside the institutions when they're back on the street.
The settlement was made possible by a 2020 state law that gave victims of childhood sexual abuse an expanded window to file civil claims against their abusers. Vigil says it's not about the money, but about justice and about protecting children.
It goes beyond a cover-up. It goes to the culture of the organization. So it's not as though there's a small insular group and they're acting a certain way and then they cover it up. It's institution-wide. There's a negligence component to it. There's an intentional component to it. There's a cultural component to it.
Think about what it would have been like if someone had been there to protect you, if someone had believed you, if someone had listened to you, if you'd been able to get those calls completed.
I think that I would have probably ended up in a better position in life a lot earlier on. I continued to get in trouble. I was an angry person. You know, it's like they say, hurt people hurt people. And I went through years and years of therapy.
Those years of therapy enabled him to turn his life around, get an education in psychology, and start a career as a case manager. Now serving as the lifeline he wishes he had all those years ago. The $4 billion will be paid out over 5 years. Taxpayers will foot the bill through 2051. An allocation team will review each individual case and decide how much each victim is entitled to.
This is really an investment. And if you don't invest in these people now, the county's going to be paying for it later in terms of reincarceration, in terms of medical expenses. And, you know, a lot of times it results in, you know, self-harm, suicide.
When did you feel that you finally had a voice, that someone would listen to you?
Now I actually feel like I have a voice.
In May, the state found that Los Padrinos, where Vigil was abused, was, quote, unsuitable to house youths, and a judge ordered reforms and a plan to move more than 100 kids out, citing riots, drug overdoses, and fights. Now, the county CEO did release a statement about this historic settlement, saying, quote, on behalf of the county, I apologize wholeheartedly to everyone who was harmed by these reprehensible acts. The historic scope of this settlement makes clear that we are committed to helping the survivors recover and rebuild their lives, and to making and enforcing the systemic changes needed to keep young people safe. And county officials are calling for policy reforms, including how abuse allegations are reported and processed, creating a hotline for reporting, and expediting investigations and independent reviews, among other steps.
Well, we're very, very glad that this gentleman got the help that he needed and is now in turn helping others.
Yeah, paying it forward.
No question. All right. Thanks so much, Rudabeh.
Yeah.